care if you're upset. If you're upset, call your agent. All right, let him have this conversation. That's what he's there for.
No, Sonny, you're gonna talk to me man to man. You owe me that.
I owe you? I drafted you.
Really enjoyed this, and I love process movies where we see how something works, especially if it's a field that we don't really think about necessarily, something like the behind the scenes of the NFL and the team management. In terms of your prep for it, was there a manager in particular you spoke to or were around, or was it in general?
We've been, so privy to what's going on in sports the last 25 years because of ESPN, where the camera's been able to be. We hear general managers fighting with GMs, with owners. We know the dialogue, and at least I know the dialogue. So if it didn't ring true in this movie, I would have said something.
The use of the Browns, I think, is great because there's always something better about a team that is struggling to define themselves.
Right.
And that I think is one of the most compelling sports stories.
It's very organic in this movie because the writer was from Cleveland. He understood the suffering. Almost moved it to another city, but then he said, why not, be talking about the team that I've suffered with. And so it was very authentic that way. And I think Cleveland shows off beautifully in this movie. We don't pull any punches about stuff, but yet there's a kind of a sweetness about it.
I really like the tone of this one from Ivan. It feels like as he's gotten older and his films are more relaxed, there is something really lovely about the pace of this, as opposed to the frenetic comedy.
Right.
Is that something that you like in the writing, where it's more character driven and subtle?
Well, listen, I was in almost every scene in this movie, and some of the scenes were 9-10 pages long, interacting with a lot of different things going on. It may seem slow-paced to you or not as frenetic, but for me it was like the clock was ticking down and everything, the stakes continued to raise. The fire got higher, hotter. But I know what you mean about his movies and this particular movie. I think it's a wonderful departure, but it certainly speaks to his talent that he would pull this off and create a movie that has quite an exciting ending.
And finally, I want to ask you, as somebody who loves Westerns and has made some great ones over the years, as I share Westerns with my kids, what would you say is really a great example of what you love about the genre and hooked you?
How old are they, first off?
8 and 6 now, almost 9 and 6.
Yeah, well, I would show them how the West was won at this point. Number one, it's an epic movie, so it travels about 200 years, so they get to, it does in a sense, it travels that. So you ought to, I think that would be a good movie. It's got some corny things in it with some singing and stuff, but yet it really talks about how the moving west across the country. And then I think I would probably introduce them to something like Searchers, which is a devastating movie, but I think they would really understand it. I think Liberty Valance is one of my favorite. They're too young, really, though. They might be too young for Searchers. I don't know. They're too young for Ombre. They're too young for Open Range. I don't know. They might like Wyatt Earp because of this, again, epic storytelling, how far it goes. And if they want to take a journey, I think they could enjoy Dances with Wolves because it is a journey. It's not a plot.
For breaking entertainment news and more, follow @HitFix on Twitter or visit hitfix.com.